Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make this 3D branding mockup with Spline. So let's get into it. Alright, so here we are in a new Spline project. So the first thing, I'm going to create a platform. So let's click here and select a backdrop and click anywhere on the screens. So now you see the backdrop here. So I'm going to scale it much bigger and move it up a little bit. And then next, let's create a cylinder, and we can also scale it up and just set it back to the vertical orientation. And let's make it a little bit shorter, and you can also go to the property panel here and increase the corner radius to soften the edge of the cylinder. So maybe go 2 or maybe 3. Yes, looking good. Alright, so now I'm going to duplicate this one to the second one and move it up. So we have the body and the cap of the bottles. So I'm not sure this is called bottle, but correct me if I'm wrong. So now we have the two part here. So let's give it some names. So we have the bodies and the cap, and then let's duplicate the body object and make it a little bit smaller, so we can have this one as a content. So basically it's going to be like a whatever inside of the bottle. So just leave it here for now. So now next thing, we're going to make some material for this bottle. So I'm going to select the colors channels and switch it to the glass material, so we can have a transparent material like this. And now let's adjust some of these properties here to make it a little bit thicker and blurrier. And then I'm going to add another layer, and for this layer I'm going to switch it to matte cap. So basically it's going to give you a little bit of a shading, like glossiness. And you can also go here to switch to a different matte cap, but I think let's go with this for now. And you can also like play around with these blending mode. So let's try multiply to dark, so maybe screen. So yeah, screen's looking good, so I'm going to go with this. And then let's reduce the intensity by 50%. So we have something like this. So I'm going to create another layer, and for this one let's select Fresnel. Where is it? Oh, right here. So we have a Fresnel layer here. So let's reduce it to 60% opacity. Alright, so lastly I wanted to add a label to this bottle, so I'm going to add another layer. And for this layers, let's select image here, and then just load the image that I already have prepared before. So now you see that the image is being mapped to the object, but we need to adjust some of the property here to make it look right. So let's switch it to cylinder and just increase the size as well as the offset to make sure that it's being mapped on the right position. Alright, so now I'm going to give this layer a blending mode. So let's select multiply. So now you see that it's being blended to the rest of the other layers, so it's looking pretty cool right now. And remember the content object that we did before, so we're going to adjust the colors and make it a little bit yellow color like this. So now you can see that it's being brightened up, and you see that there's really nice blurry effects inside the bottles. Is create this kind of feeling of a translucent material. So now let's work on the material for the cap. So I'm going to give it a base color, so let's select some orange, and then add a matte cap layers, and also give it a blending mode, and also reduce the intensities. Then next, let's add a Fresnel layers to make it shinier. Okay, so now we have something like this, so it's looking pretty good. Next thing, I'm going to do some material for the platform, which is the backdrop here. So let's switch the color channel to a depth channel. So with this layer, we have this UI here to control the gradient in 3D, and you can click here to adjust the gradient properties. Click here to make it bigger, and go to this property here to adjust the colors. So I'm going to change it to a pink gradient like this, and then let's bring it down and spread it out a little bit more. Alright, so next thing I'm going to create a sphere. So we're going to use a sphere to create a rock. So I'm going to scale it bigger and make it a little bit flatter. And then let's go to the material panel and change the color to a yellowish gray like this. And then let's add another layers, and for this ones let's pick image. So I'm going to click on this thumbnails, and we're going to use this really cool features which is called generate with AI. So we're going to use AI to generate some texture for this rock. So all you have to do is just type whatever that you want here, and you can also like select the size to make sure that it's big enough. So for this ones, let's try something like stone, like gray stone surface. Click generate, and it will give you this kind of textures. So I think it's looking pretty good. Like all you have to do is just go here and change the blending mode to overlay, and now it's blending to the base colors. So it's already looking pretty good. And then you can also add more layers and generate more textures and blending with the original texture to come up with different variations. I'm kind of happy with this. So the last thing I want to do is to add the final layer. And for this one, I'm going to select displays. So basically it would use a noise map to distort the object to make it looks more like a rock. So you can play around with these settings to come up with different looks for the rocks. So once we're happy with the rocks, I'm going to move the whole bottles to sit on top of the rock like this. And then let's create another cylinder and make it bigger and move it behind the rock and the bottles. And I'm going to add a yellow color to this cylinder to make everything looks cohesive. And then another trick to make this looks even better is to go to the top view and then create a ellipse. Click anywhere else, and then we're going to use this as a fake shadow. So all you have to do is just switch this to a gradient and change this gradient into a dark red gradient like this. So what we're trying to do here is to create a fake shadow to make scenes looks more realistic. So after we have this layer on the top here, just move it way down right up on the surface, so we can have like a fake ambient shadows. Let's make this look even better. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is to add a abstract animated shape into it. So all you have to do is go to the library and then just open this file. So we already have some really cool animated shape here, so we just grab this and reuse it. You don't need to invent anything. So let's copy one of these and then paste it to your scene, and then adjust the color to match the rest of the scene. Alright, so this is looking good. So now I'm going to add the animation to the shape. So let's click here to create a state. So we have the two states here. So let's select the second state and then change the values down here. So let's change this angle value. You see that it twists the whole shape and makes this really cool animation. So we have the two states like this. So now all we have to do is just create an event, and let's select transition, and it's gonna transition from base state to state, and let's click here and change it to linear, and let's make sure it's gonna be infinite loop, and duration should be maybe 10 seconds. Alright, that's it. So let's click here to preview. So now we have this really cool and smooth animations. So we're almost there. Just last thing I want to do is to add a palm tree leaf to add more colors into the scene. So let's click here to select import, and I'm going to import a external file I already have here. For some reason it's way up on the top, so let's move it down, get rid of this roof, and let's just move it down and just move it to the right position. So that's it. Alright, so that's how you can create a 3D animated branding mockup right in Splice with just a few simple techniques. So I hope you enjoy these videos, and I will see you in the next one.